Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Kev Play. This is Kevin, and we are on episode 59 of The Last of Us Part 2, no return mode blind run that we've been doing. Um, Hello, Puppa Pig, how's it going? I want to bring attention to the challenges tab here, which I've been kind of ignoring, um, but this is basically how we unlock stuff. Um, You said Pablo says yes. I've seen episode 2. Yeah, I yes. We'll definitely get to that. Yeah. I have my own thoughts. I wanted to let. I didn't want to do. First of all, I was tired as all hell yesterday, so I was just like, let me let my initial reaction simmer. That way I could see what other people are saying, and then I can, because I've been having a lot of discussions on Twitter about the second episode, but I figured we'd do it today though, and but yeah, so there's like kill 4 enemies with Molotovs in one encounter. We get a range jacket. So right now we have Ellie, but it looks like the track. Look at this. There's a bunch of stuff. So there's basically like a whole track of stuff. We unlocked Dina last time, and if we do 3 encounters with Dina, we unlock Jesse. That's kind of interesting to me. Um, so this is like our progression, because you asked about this last time, like, do I feel a sense of progression? I've just been blind running, just trying to get through the encounters. I haven't really been thinking about the unlockables, but this is like, there's a lot to unpack here, which I really like. Maybe we should play as Dina, see how many characters we can get. Because I think if you start as Abby, then you can unlock like all of Abby's people, or anybody who's like more closely related to Abby's story, or in her world or her orbit. Um, but maybe I'll play as Dina this time. If I'm gonna do that though, it's a standard run, moderate. Let's try Dina. Oh, there's a different playstyle. Let's see. Her playstyle is crafting, whereas Ellie's is balanced. Interesting. And her inventory with Ellie is a pistol and a Molotov. Okay, so her inventory is like a revolver, and she seems to just have like some kind of crafting buff. Her traits: trap mine recipe, stun bomb recipe, double craft, upgrade branch. Okay, that's interesting. You know what? I'm gonna stick with Ellie because I still feel like I need to earn my way forward by at least completing a run for the first time. So we'll go with that, especially since she's balanced. I feel like once I beat an entire run as a balanced player, then I'll take on like the different play
Right
styles
on.
that exist. But yes, you said we have a lot to talk about, which is very true. Um, it's like production value of the episode incredible. Like it felt like I'm not a Game of Thrones guy, but it felt like it was getting like this Last of Us TV show is getting the same production value in terms of a budget and and all that a big juggernaut of a show like Game of Thrones would. That's cool to see. Yeah, so this is the episode where the big moment of Last of Us Part Two. Joel uh, dies. My thoughts exactly. It had that HBO Game of Thrones style to it. Yeah. And it follows the game in the sense of like when you're playing as Abby, you're going through the snow. All of a sudden, there are like infected coming out of the snow. Um, in the show, even in season 1, they established that like because of like the cordyceps, like the way they kind of like the roots can kind of travel underground and like um, it's like if you disturb one you disturb them all, even if they're like in different locations. So it's interesting how this version of the the Last of Us universe, kind of capitalizes on that in terms of like, because here's the thing too is like last season, one of the big criticisms amongst fans for the first season was we're not getting enough infected. There's not enough infected scenes. It seemed like, I mean, me personally, I like that they were focusing more on the Joel and Ellie dynamic and that story. And if an infected scene fit into the story, then I'll take it. But I wasn't like, oh man, I need more. I need like more hordes and more everything and or whatever. So in a way, the second episode felt like an answer to that, where it's like if we're gonna have infected, we're gonna go big with it. And so to that effect, you know, so much infected happens even in the game, like how they recreated the scene where Abby is pinned up against that like shed and like the chain link fence is being crushed by like the entire horde and she's crawling on her hands and knees or basically on her stomach trying to get through and it plays out the same way where Joel uh saves her. If you're gonna have a big moment like that, then I could see how they can be like, okay, this is an alternate version where because this horde was like, awakened, um that it can have a negative effect on a compound like Jackson, like a big community, since they are nearby. Um it's interesting. And my initial reaction to with it was it was cool. It was very like blockbustery. It reminded me of the scene from last season um where it's what's their names? Sam and Henry and we're trying to escort them and the hunters are after them and like the lady leader is trying is has a bounty out for Henry and Sam or at least Henry maybe I think. Um and then you have the whole thing where like the ground collapses in on one of the houses that's burning and like all the infected just come pouring out and then you get the bloater for the first time. um it felt reminiscent of like following up in terms of that magnitude of infected. They're attacking Jackson. It gets a little like I think it was a cool like to see like Jackson's defenses, like how they're like rolling the barrels out that are filled with what seems like to be like gasoline, and then how they were like basically shooting at the barrels, letting it all spill out all over the place, and then like throwing like a Molotov or whatever, and then like in order to get rid of all those infected. Interesting, really entertaining. Um, I think the battle scene it does become like the action become takes a lot of the forefront, and for me there were moments where I was kind of like, okay, this is like I don't know, this is kind of like taking away from what we're anticipate like the more cathartic climax that we're about to get with Joel's death with Abby. I felt like the episode kind of had a bit of a what's the word, unevenness where it's like especially since we're seeing it from Tommy's perspective and he's leading this whole defense against the horde. They're breaking through. He has like they got him with like a squad, and they have like flamethrowers and then he has like this boss battle with the bloater and it's just like for me it was a little on the nose, a little heavy-handed for me, and especially when you're where it's the episode where we're losing Joel, where we're supposed to kind of feel that like uh supposed to be gutted by the loss of like the protagonist, the male protagonist, and you know like when it happened in the game when Joel dies, and it's like okay, Ellie's on her own now. You know, there's no one that's gonna be her like to make her feel safe anymore. It's she's on her own. Whereas with this, it's like I'm wondering if a TV audience is like thinking, "Oh, Joel's dead, but oh, there's always Tommy. There's Tommy." You know, I guess he'll take on the role of like this, like cool guy, not protagonist, but just like someone who can carry the show. Whereas I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel like, oh, we're just trading places with another character that can carry the show. I want to feel a sense of loss and a sense of like tragedy with Joel, and I do. At the same time, I do. Um, but for me, as like for someone who's seen a lot of television, a lot of the best television, this to me the game is like one of the boldest stories in its execution that I've ever seen in a video game, and I've seen some of the boldest television uh, on HBO especially that have made really incredible moves in its direct in how a plot is directed or like how a vision is realized and how it's executed. This to me felt like they were playing it safe for the for the TV audience, and that to me was a little disappointing. As a Last of Us, for as an episode of The Last of Us, and as a fan of the show, it was good. I can understand if people loved it more than I do, but for me, it was a very safe, especially with how, and another aspect of why I think it was safe is that how they had Abby kind of explain her reasoning behind Joel. We weren't allowed to feel a sense of confusion or to be infuriated with what she was doing and what she does to Joel. We kind of they kind of over 2 episodes build up why she's doing this, and for her to have this kind of like almost 5 minute monologue or speech that she gives to Joel where she's kind of just like just like savoring the whole moment, and to me like it almost felt a little detrimental to what the game's themes are, where it's like revenge is like a very messy, destructive, and and unsatisfying endeavor. We learned that through playing the game of how just like the amount of, and I know we're early in, eh, so we have to see how the season plays out, but there was just a sense of safeness with that where it's like, yeah, the audience might still hate Abby, but at least let's have them understand. Whereas in the game, we had no. It's like we didn't understand. We had no context. We knew that Joel had pissed off a lot of people along the way, and that if it's not Abby, it could be anyone that could be seeking vengeance on him or retaliation against him. Um, but I don't know. I feel like the show, because of the backlash of the game, they took a safer route doing it, telling the story 5 years later in another medium, when I think they could have trusted their audience more. A lot of great shows trust their audience, even if there is going to be controversy. And I don't know. In a way, I don't blame them. But as someone who's a fan of like the best of television, I don't think this. I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, this is one of the greatest episodes of television in the last 10 years," or I'm just like, I've seen a lot of great television, and people keep saying like, I don't think that they could tell the story in the same way the game does, because the game is such a special medium in order to let you play as Abby and or whatever. But I still think there's a way in television, long form storytelling, to tell the story in a way where you're following the perspective of one character versus another. you know, but that's just my qualm with it. Let me see what you're saying. I kind of you said my thoughts. You said the golf club moment. You say I really like that. I mean, now we have a new generation of Last of Us 2 haters. I did see a lot of like people were sharing like what their families were saying oh my mom was watching Last of Us and she's never watching again or whatever. So yeah, it's understandable what they fell in love with in that first season, that dynamic between Joel and Ellie. I'm glad that it resonated enough for them to at least I'm glad that people are that the show has accomplished the feeling of making people upset because that's the intention because that's what we're going to explore as we push forward uh is the the gray area and the nuances of why had to happen the way it did and or whether it was like unjust or unfair. That's all good. So I'm glad that TV audiences the risk here's the risky thing with TV audiences if they don't like it enough they might just not tune in next week now. Whereas with the game we bought it as a one and done. We paid our $60 or whatever it was at the time, and even if we didn't like it, we were still going to keep playing. A lot of people obviously want to see the story through. A lot of people didn't, but um, you know the the purchase has already been made. Whereas in with a television series, it depends on viewers tuning in each week, ratings. But you said this episode is getting high ratings. I mean, I'm glad people enjoy it. I just I personally think, and I know I have to turn this part of my brain off, is that I think the video game executed it like almost like masterfully compared to this, where it's good. It's not bad, but it's not even that it's not the same for me. It's just I don't think it was done as well. But I don't think it's bad. I think it's good, and I'm willing to see the little differences that they made. And by the way, I don't have any problem with them like making changes like swapping Dina for Joel's companion throughout the episode versus Tommy. Um, I think that's a interesting change. If they want to explore something else in this version of the story, that's fine. Um, I noticed that they used Dina to acknowledge Joel by name in front of Abby, which is different from the game. And a lot of people, always criticize the game for why would Joel and Tommy introduce their names to a bunch of strangers. And you can argue that it's because they're getting comfortable. They're trying to reconcile for what they've done, and that they're part of a community now that they want to have a better perspective of themselves and not have to live in fear or what have you. But this was a way to show that it wasn't Joel or Tommy that introduced themselves. It kind of takes that criticism out of consideration now. It was just like Dina Dina didn't even know who this other person was yet, or even really acknowledging them yet. So for her to plead Joel's name because of something that because they were under in danger, it's a little bit more easier to swallow, I guess. Um, you said, I guess she said whatever speech she got rehearsed. And she did in the game. We didn't hear the speech, but she did have a lot to say, and she does say in the game, you don't get to rush this. So, and then it cuts away after she hits him the first blow of the golf club. So then we cut to Ellie playing in the game. What we can expect is after those first initial hits, maybe she did have her speech that she gave to Joel that we never got to see. Um, and then in the show, we got more of her kind of just like marinating in her vengeance and of it all. The one thing I will give them credit for is that they made her crew, like Mel and Owen and is it what's her name? Darlene or am I the intergalactic girl who's I'm forgetting what her name is in the game. Um, but they seemed very disturbed, and they definitely were making it clear behind Abby's back that they want this to be over with. And if they can, and even before Joel showed up, Owen's plan was, if I can, like, I'm gonna have to convince her that we can't do this because we're not gonna be able to get out of this alive with that whole town of Jackson. Uh, there's no way you're gonna infiltrate that compound and then get away with what you're trying to do without likely everyone being put in mortal danger like that. It's convenient that Joel showed up, very lucky, just like in the game that he just fell right into their lap. um, but they definitely were not, they actually were not on as supportive, it seemed. They seemed more reluctant in the show than in the game, because even in the game they were disturbed by what happens, but they're kind of pretty much on Abby's side. They're like they have almost the same uh, prejudice against Joel. Whereas I'm sure they do here, but at the same time, I think that, they just seemed like they didn't seem like killers. Even though they're part of an army that we'll learn, the WLF and all that, but they didn't seem like they would have that this was like something they were really down with, even if Joel did wrong them. Um, so it's interesting. You said I love the episode, but it's not one of like the greatest I've ever seen. Yeah, that's what I say. Um, like I have criticisms of this, and not in a sense of like, oh, I'm sure like there's the difference between people who have criticisms of this watching it for the first time or people who hated the game where it's like, oh, they did Joel dirty again. No, I am completely down with the direction of Joel dying. Uh, in the way that he does, but just compared to the game, it's like it makes you appreciate the game's the attention to detail that went into every beat of the game. Like if you watch, even like the lighting, it's to me. But again, maybe I'm biased, but I don't know. There's just like I try to compartmentalize the oh, you're not adapting it the way I would have hoped, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. And by the way, I think Bella Ramsey did amazing. I think she nailed it. Her reaction, her performance, like very reassuring. I don't know why people doubt her so much. She's doing a great job, I think. I do like the difference where she's crawling to Joel at the end. It's like it's not the same. It's different, but there's something very endearing about that I liked. And you said 2020. I never felt so back. With the golf club moment, you said I felt that the lighting was a little too bright because that's what they said is that it was done more in like the resorts, I guess like the hotels like lobby area or like their like the front desk area where like the light of the snow is still coming in. The light of the snow was still coming in the game because they were in a basement in the game which was darker, but there was a window that was kind of still showing you that there was like that there was a sense of coldness in the scene. Um, and you said, yeah, I got to hand it to Ramsey. She killed it. A lot of people I see people saying, "Oh, Bella Ramsey did great, but why isn't there blood on her face or why is she wearing this goofy beanie on her head?" I'm just like, "Come on, guys. Like, are we being this like that's a little nitpicky for my taste where it's like, okay, it doesn't have to be a one-to-one shot of the game where Ellie had a bloody nose in the game compared to Ellie in the show, or oh, she's God forbid she's wearing a winter hat in a snowstorm. To me, there's almost an adorableness to it. It's almost like, she's like a baby girl in a moment where her figurative father, her basically her father figure is tortured and beaten to a pulp and dead. Um, I think it was fine. But yeah. I'm just thinking what else we got Ashley Johnson's rendition of Through the Valley, which was played for the trailer of The Last of Us Part 2, the game, as an ending song. And then the end credits, like there's no music at all. It's like nothing. It's allowing the audience to kind of sit with what just happened. Um, it's interesting. Is there anything to do? All right, let's get into the game part, and then we can talk if there's anything else I can remember. I think there was one challenge where if I had to Molotov four enemies in one encounter, but I only have one Molotov, so probably in a later encounter I could do that. Is this infected or humans?
Your luck's gonna run out!
No.
Headshot kill an enemy.
It's over!
Okay. Complete 6 gambits. I wasted a lot of. I wasted more ammo than I should have, but I wanted to get that gambit. Battle of the Pipes.
Push forward! Copy that!
Okay, so that was not good, but did I get... Oh, I had to complete an encounter, I think, in order to get the gambit, I'm guessing. Alright, we can try that again. Let's just skip. 10 points per enemy killed, only in hunted game mode. Okay. Okay, I did get the gambit at least. So you can still unlock stuff. That's cool. At least now we know. And it's probably good to try to unlock any little gambit stuff in the first run or the first encounter of the run rather than like the fourth. Because then you're not really worrying about your own survival, you're worrying about like the meta game. I don't know what else to add about episode 2. Um I kind of wish that Joel was a little bit more, how in the game he was more. They had to hold him down like a almost like a rabid dog when he was first shotgunned in the leg, and like he was angry, whereas this Joel was like he was very passive and kind of like sad sacky, like oh here like he knew it was coming, but he thought it was gonna be like this just like comfy little I don't know, he was there was a softness to him that I wish that he played it. I wish Pedro played it a little bit more angrily and doubling down on he has no regrets about what he's done up to this point. He does say it, he does cut Abby off in her speech, saying like, "Oh, just shut the fuck up and do it already," which is similar to him saying like, "Oh, just say whatever speech you have rehearsed and get this over with," or whatever, you know, which brings on the whole um, Abby saying you don't get to rush this. Um, but I guess it played out. You know, it's a different version. It played out differently than that.
Anyone else in here?
All right, let's try that again. Going to the shipping yard. I guess we'll be smarter this time. Deposit items. That's interesting. I feel like this is gonna be an infected area.
We're coming for you.
Damn it. What?
It's the wolf.
Or not. Oh. That worked out well. This other person's come from behind, I think. Whew.
All right.
I don't have any health kits. Let's see if I can find something. I think there was a health right here. Let's craft a health kit. Alright, here we go.
Where'd she go? Look everywhere.
Okay.
Don't let her escape.
Oh, there's 2 minutes. Are they waiting for me to... There we go. Oh god.
Run while you can. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Headshot, kill an enemy. So, when The Last of Us 2 Season 2 finishes, are you going to start your new game? Yeah, I will. It's just easier this way if I can just go through each episode and not have to like keep changing back and forth on the PS5. Oh god. That guy's like, no thank you. No, don't let this be another one. Oh no! Okay, this is a bad one. Other than I guess what we've been talking about though, I guess, yeah, not good. I did complete another Gambit though, so maybe I can get Marlene by the end of this. New game mode, capture mode, and capture The enemies are guarding a safe filled with valuable supplies. It will lock when the timer expires. You can use stealth to approach the safe and open it before all enemies are defeated. This new game mode will appear in future runs. Cool. Uh, there's just what I've been playing. I decided to hop onto South Park: The Stick of Truth, which I've never platinumed. I don't expect to platinum it, but I'm doing another run where I am getting more trophies than I did the first run. Now that I can see what certain trophies I should try to go for. So it's good to at least be playing a game that I already own, not buying a new game just because I feel, sometimes I need to be disciplined, a little bit disciplined with, not trying to just buy new games for the sake of it. So it's good to like hop onto an old game I already have beaten and play through it again and just, slowly but surely play through it. And it's a short game, relatively. Like, I think, maybe like 15 hours.
Let's see.
You said you're playing the Sly Cooper games. Okay. Yeah, those games I played, what was it, a couple of years ago now? I think. I played the Sly Collection on PS3. I platinumed all three. I still have to pick up Sly 4. I never picked it up. I feel like after the going through all three games, I just like I was like I needed to put Sly down for a bit. That's the luxury. Like everyone's like, oh, will there ever be a Sly 5? And I'm kind of just like, I'll get to Sly 4 someday. Like at least I still have that. I know it's not as good as compared to the first three, but at least it's something.
Shit.
Where are these guys? You said you're on slide 2. Whoa, someone sees me. I liked slide 2 a lot. I think slide 2 still has like the bottles you can collect, right?
Have eyes on it!
Don't let her escape!
Where'd I go? That was interesting. Let's craft health kit. Try to see what else I can grab. Oh, this one here. 5 seconds. Get that health. Where are they at? Feeling more confident now. What does that mean? Like the little soft whistle. Does that mean they suspect me?
Just shut up. You know how this ends.
Oh, got another gambit.
You won't escape!
Does he see me?
May you guide me.
There we go. One more wave.
Okay.
Why isn't this gun being picked up? Okay. Okay. I think I saw there's some people over here. Oh, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4's like account put out an interesting little trailer, which I thought could be misleading, but it seemed interesting. Whoa! Hold on.
There
hold
she
on.
is.
Oh, she found me.
She's running!
Okay. What was the trailer? Oh, or like it was like a little 15-second. It was like basically the tweet was, "Who said there's no career mode?" And it showed a bunch of Tony Hawk Pro Skater, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 like goals that were very familiar to the career mode in the game. And they had like a little winky, like kind of like a little sly emoji face. Is that them saying that there actually is going to be a Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 career mode the way it should be? Or are they just saying this is the streamlined goals that are going to be
Don't. Easy, shut the fuck up.
that are going to be part of like the 2-minute timer career? Because like even if it was a 2-minute timer, that's what the career is. If it so, but if they're implying, because if they're teasing the audience with that tweet, just for it to be the 2-minute career, still that's a little misleading. And I think there were some like Tony Hawk fans that were kind of calling it out. People were calling it out. Even Andy THPS, who's like kind of like the Canadian guy A of Tony Hawk, where it's like, you know, this doesn't really confirm or deny whether there's actually going to be a legit career mode, but it was something. You know, it seemed like they wouldn't have done that if they didn't think that it would be a little controversial to mislead the audience or mislead the fans with. Maybe it's something that they're actually gonna incorporate into the game somehow. Like, maybe there will be a 2-minute... Because I am kind of curious how a 2-minute timer in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 works. If they had both modes, that'd be cool. I'd be down with that. Alright, so we got past... We got Marlene. And 3 dead drops. Oh, the next one is complete 3 dead drops, which is for the character Bill. Interesting. Cool. Let's get right into it. I guess we can try to fit in some Desert Island countdown for 2010 of games of our top 10. Fire rate. Let's do fire rate. I guess I'll recap. Let me just pull it up. Pulling it all up. Okay, we got that. Alright, so for my number 10 was BioShock Infinite. Number 9, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 8, Horizon Zero Dawn. Number 7, Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 6, South Park Fractured But Whole. And number 5 was Killzone 3. Your number 10 was Minecraft. Your number 9, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 8, Sonic Generations. Number 7, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. And number 6, Super Mario Odyssey, and your number 5 was Marvel's Spider-Man. What do I want? Trap mine, trading post, reroll now. I guess it would be good to have a bow and arrow, but the gun would be cool. Silence gun, that would be nice. You know what? To craft mines. Let's get the mines, because I feel like the mines are going to be key for later. And then, I don't... Oh, can I reroll? You know what? Let's just keep it at that. And then we should have some pills for... Let's do improved Molotov. Alright, so I'll go into my number... Basically, we have 4 left. We're not going to... You probably won't be able to get through them all, obviously, because we're a little late. But my number 4 I'll go into. Number 4 is God of War 2018. This was a big game when it came out. When it first came out, people were like, "Oh, it's like the Last of Us version of Kratos. You know, he has a son now, and we're gonna, it's like, we're gonna be following his journey, trying to raise a son." And it is somewhat inspired by The Last of Us, but what I am really impressed with God of War, I always loved the Greek games, is when they brought it back after the series being dormant since 2013, with the last game being God of War Ascension. We didn't know what a new God of War looked like, especially after Ascension, where it felt like the series was running on fumes a bit, where it was kind of like, okay, they're kind of just like milking it a bit. How do you reinvent God of War, especially not in the same play style, where it's not the top, more of like a, the camera's pulled back, arcadey, button masher, and this is more of an over-the-shoulder, more up in person, like close and personal type of gameplay. How do you make that work? I don't know how you make it work, but they made it work, and they changed changing to the Leviathan axe instead of his Blades of Chaos. Oh God. We got stalkers. Oh, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Jesse, help me. I'm stuck. No. All right, so this is going to be the episode where I just keep failing. I was literally stuck behind the shopping cart. Anyway, let's just continue. We can at least try to get these gambits or whatever challenges I can do. Game mode daily run. Okay, we're not there yet. New character unlocked. We got Marley.
Darkness.
This character is now available to play when you start a new run. Traits: custom, assault rifle, one-time path, reroute, all or nothing gambits, calculated upgrade branch. You said, yeah, I really like this game. It's not as badass as the Greek games, but it's still good. I like that it's like a more personal story for him, but I also like that they made it make sense of why he's in the Norse mythology. By the way, like, going into this game, I knew nothing of Norse mythology. Just like the Greek games, it was kind of like my way of like learning more about the mythology, which is what I found really interesting. Cory Barlog did an awesome job, researching and reimagining how Kratos would fare in this kind of world, and what he would be up against and what the story could be. You said, I love that Kratos can fight with gods from other mythologies. Because that's again, it introduces that, like, the notion that he can just, that this can continue where it's like maybe they'll explore other mythologies. How they'll do it to make sense, that's another question. But for him to the reasoning for him to be kind of like hiding in this Norse world after what happened in the Greek games, and to, just trying to live a quiet life, it's very, I like it. Um, I like that the game is about the consequences of what he's done catching up to him in this world, and that it's not as easy as just starting over. We got two new mods here. Mods tier 4. Time slows on headshots. Crafting gives bonus parts. Oh, these are mods that we can do on a custom run. Reloading discards ammo left. Long guns locked. Cool. Make those runs more fun. But yeah, what I really liked is how they reinvented the story. They made it make sense. It was full of these epic moments where we're going up against gods we've never would have crossed paths with in the Greek games. What challenges do we have? I guess I can try. I don't know. We can try another run though. But oop, my bad. But I like how they reinvented it, and it's so to me it was so bold how they reinvented it. They really threw like a Hail Mary to make it work, and it did. It was a great experiment that was successful. And the story was very like I like how the story was very grounded. We're just trying to get these ashes to the mountain, basically. But there's so much to explore in the character dynamics between the father and son of Kratos and Atreus. That was fun. That was a lot of. That was awesome. I love that the whole game never cuts away from what you're doing, even in cutscenes or in gameplay. It's all one long tracking shot from Kratos' perspective. That to me was technically impressive. This was like definitely like one of the great games of the PS4 generation for me, without a doubt. I still love kind of like both David Jaffe, who did the original God of Wars, and Cory Barlog. I love their take on like these two mythologies, where they kind of like reimagine how they'll adapt the different gods or the characters. Oh god, we're up against. Sometimes they get these. Oh god. Alright, let's get out of here. Ellie gets like tired, which I don't like. Oh, can I get the 4? Am I supposed to just survive? Oh, okay, so I had a timer. And it's just like endless enemies coming at me. Why is it so hard on the first level? All of a sudden. I guess the game's just punishing me for talking bad about episode 2. Or having some criticism for it. Play 9 runs though. I unlock game mode daily run, so I get a daily run. New feature, daily run. You can only make one attempt at the daily run per day, and your run will be abandoned if not completed within 24 hours. Everyone plays the same so everyone's playing the same randomly generated run for the day. You can view the daily leaderboards from the no return menus. This option is available when starting a new run. Okay, so we read about this one in an earlier episode. We just didn't have it unlocked yet. That's kind of cool. But yeah, to me, this game, it's another game I platinumed. It was a very challenging game. I played it on, I guess, like the normal mode, but going after every Valkyrie queen and going after like the Queen Valkyrie, that was like one of the toughest fights I've ever done in games. Like and like one of the most rewarding once you beat it. You really had to give like it your all. You had to like change your stats in like exactly the right way for it to like work too. Like very very great a great balance of challenging but rewarding at the same time and addicting. You said I tried one of the Valkyries. They suck. It's tough. I'm not like a Dark Souls guy where like, but after beating the Valkyries, it's like maybe I can do it. Maybe I can handle like a From Software game. But yeah, that's my number four. Is God of War 2018. You know what? Let's give Dina a shot.
Onward.
Okay. It's kind of cool playing as Dina. Subway station. Haunted. Okay. So what would you think is your number four? What would you put down? And by the way, Mimir, awesome character too, and I really love the music too. Like Bear McCreary does the composing. There's one song in the soundtrack called Deliverance, which I've played before. Like when I'm working out, I'll play that song. It's very epic.
Son of a bitch.
Whoa! Jeez, where do these people come from? Why are they right up my ass? Okay. Jesus. Okay, at least we got a cool upgrade tree of stuff. Let's craft all this. These bad. Oh, I should have done the trap mine. Alright. Oh, I got my light on and he sees me. Damn it.
Rotten husk!
John!
God, they really sneak up on you.
Hurry, she's out!
Are you kidding me? I had like 1 second left. I'm like not in the. It's like I'm not in the zone today. Okay, so you said your number 4 is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Great pick. This is one of those trailers I feel very envious of. The whole everyone is here, like the hype of it. I remember playing Crash Team Racing Nitro Field, and like they have their own version of Everyone Is Here trailer that's like a fan made. But I remember when this came out and the Everyone Is Here trailer came out, and it was just like it just kept rolling characters out, and then I really enjoyed watching like YouTubers react to the trailer, and then realizing that every character is like being included, like the more it progresses. That was pretty cool. Even as like a non-Nintendo guy, like I was like really happy for people that they were getting a game like this. Um, I've played it once at like a game, kind of like a game store where you like I was out eating with friends and there's a game store like nearby, and they basically the game store like you pay for like the hour or whatever, and we took that opportunity to play Smash Ultimate, and the first thing we were kind of the first thing that was kind of surprising to us was how small that Switch controllers are or whatever. What's it called? Like the attachment thing that you had to play
Cool.
on.
Shall we?
A little too small for our hands, but but it was a fun experience. I played as Pikachu. Um, didn't get that much time with it, obviously, but it seemed cool. You said, yeah, over 80 characters, 100 stages, and 1,000 plus music tracks. Yes, you can get better than this game. You can't get better than this game. That's cool. Alright, every time they bring me to this place, I feel like I die also. Let's put a trap out. She's supposed to be good at traps, so like, let's put a trap out before these knuckleheads show up. Oh, these people can crawl at you? Did that happen in the game? In the original game? Alright, next wave. Let's keep it coming. But you said this is my go-to Smash game. Interesting. See, like, within my friends, our go-to is still, and maybe this is because we're, like, you know, in our 30s plus, but, our go-to is the original, Super Smash 64, and now that we're playing the modded version with more characters and more levels, like, it's kind of cool, but, I'm glad that you enjoy it. I don't have a Switch, so it's like, and a lot of my friends don't have Switches either, so we just don't have the luxury of being able to experience it. But from what little time I had with it, it was enjoyable. It's a lot faster than the previous game. The new characters are awesome. How many Pokemon characters can you play as? Is it still like Pikachu? I'm guessing Pikachu, Jigglypuff, Pichu, from what I understand. Pokemon Trainer. Hold on. I think Mewtwo, obviously. Okay, this was a little easier as long as you stay in this little hole, this like long hole, not hallway, but you know,
Okay.
porch area. There's a lot more Pokemon like Lucario. So Lucario is kind of beyond me. I don't really. That's kind of like a few, like a gen after I stopped. You said Lucario, Mewtwo, who I know, Incineroar, and then you said Pichu. Yeah, Incineroar. I don't even know who that is either. Ooh, I got a trophy. True Strength. My bad. I pressed the mute button by accident. I was saying what was I saying? I was saying, oh yeah, and then DLC happened where they just kept adding more characters. And then I asked, do they have like a single player mode? Kind of like how the original one did. And I'm guessing the other ones did too, right? Okay. Pump shotgun, that would be cool. I want that shotgun actually. Cool. And I was also talking about Switch 2. Now that Switch 2 is happening, I wonder how they would approach a sequel. Or would they carry over what they have in the first game? Since, you know, like, what more could you add after the Everyone is Here? They have all these characters and levels now. All you're going to be basically doing is adding more levels and characters. So would it be smarter to just carry over the original game and then just make a huge expansion? Or do you come up with a new game? It's like, I don't know. Craft smoke bombs, I guess. We'll do that. You said there is a world of light, but it just involves you fighting powered up characters on the roster. I feel that characters are going to be cut. That's what I feel too. Because licensing is a thing too. Like, it's already such a, it's like, it really is like, you know, lightning in a bottle to get all those characters the way they did. To redo that all over again in a sequel, I don't know. It was already hell to get all these characters. Yeah, you know, and that's something to be grateful for. It's like you don't get that every day with what they managed to pull off. But yeah, that's your 4. Okay. Great pick. A game I've actually played. You know, even if it was only for an hour. Oh god.
Let's go. Right behind you.
Who's here? Oh, they're coming down the... I guess I can go on my number 3? My number 3 is... Oh god.
In that house!
Okay. My number 3 is The Last of Us. 2013, the first game. This is a game that I played it. The first time I played it was on the PS4 on the remastered version. I remember asking people in forums if this game is a game that I should pick up. I remember seeing the E3 trailer and it was very brutal, very cool. The way like Joel was going through like the kind of like the, I guess it was like a motel area. And very brutal. I loved how like the Ellie character was like helping, was like a very helpful NPC.
Over here!
Okay, I guess I was supposed to kill more people. But I just like that, you know, it was the first Naughty Dog game that I played. I think I played it before. No, did I play it before the Uncharted games? I don't think so. No, I played the Uncharted games before The Last of Us. But you said, oh, sorry. You said I remember playing this game for the first time and I was really broken at the first scene. That's another thing is that you know, we talk about The Last of Us 2 and how bold it is. You forget how bold the first game is, the way they kill off Joel's daughter in the very beginning. You're playing as Joel's daughter in the very beginning, um, which is very, you know, which was again the game itself helping you to really feel the impact of her loss after having played as her. Thinking that you're playing as like one of the main characters. Um, Very touching game. It's probably the first time, even though I really like, I think Uncharted 2 is a very tightly told story. Very like for me as from a storytelling perspective, I think it's actually like Naughty Dog's other great story game before um up until the first Last of Us. Um, Great father daughter story. Great game that makes you think, just like the second game will. But like again, that ending. It's one of the most like um, I guess it's one of the endings that is the most talked about in games. I think because of how rich it is and how thought provoking it is. With what Joel does in the end in the hospital. Um, oh, what do we got here? Guess I can try more. Put another trip mine down. That'd be good. What's this? Semi-auto pistol. That could be helpful. Oh, I pretty much got everything. Okay. But yeah, this game, is this Gus Santavala or whatever the composer's name is? Awesome score. Um, the acousticness of it. You said, yeah, I love the ending. Makes you think what you would do in that situation. It lends itself like it's not just a great story in video games. It's a great story. Like, that's why I think it deserves. It's warranted that there's a television version of it. What do I got here? Stability, reload speed. Reload speed would be good. The gameplay is alright. But the crafting and like the kind of like the groundedness and the brutalness of it all, I like it. I think Factions, the multiplayer mode, is a great substitute for someone who lost SOCOM as like a tactical shooter series in terms of its multiplayer. The Factions is still a fun ass multiplayer mode. Um, But yeah, the gameplay for me, like at the time, the gameplay is really good. I think Part Two's gameplay refines it a lot more. Uh, but overall, it's a good time, I think. Um, and what I like about the game too is it respects your time more. It's a very um tightly told story. There doesn't feel like there's anything being over drawn out or the pacing just feels perfect out of all the story driven games that I've played. Craft silencers that could be helpful. Listen mode movement speed. Oh no wait. Um, Craft smoke bombs. Craft more smoke bombs. Improve trap mines. I guess we can do this to get more, because I want to get to those. Oh, I can't do anything yet. I don't know. I'm confused. Oh, I can do this. Yeah, I guess I'll do this instead. But yeah, The Last of Us. Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson as Joel and Ellie. They are lightning in a bottle in terms of their chemistry. Let's do the streets. And what else can I say? Like it's just it's one of those games that, I played grounded mode, which is the hardest difficulty. You needed to play grounded mode in order to platinum the game. This encounter type is capture. I think this is the first one we've ever done. The enemies are guarding a safe filled with valuable supplies. It will lock when the timer expires. Okay, so it's time sensitive. You can use stealth to approach the safe and open it before all enemies are defeated. Okay. So we don't have to just rush our way in. Are the enemies infected or are they actually humans, though?
Shit.
Where are these people? Oh, so I have to actually like unlock the safe. I wonder if I have to find like the code. I have 2 minutes. But yeah, that's my number.
There she is!
Shit.
Don't let her escape!
Oh god. I see you. I see you.
Oh, fuck!
Oh, oh! Dropped a pipe bomb or something. Fuck. Okay, they did that themselves. That wasn't me. Dummies. They dropped a pipe bomb again. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Ooh. There's 2 people left. Oh god. Oh, I still didn't do the save, damn it!
Fuck me!
Oh, god, 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 god. Okay, so I completed it. Oh, so there was a safe, I guess, like, maybe the safe... Maybe you still have to get through all the people, but... the safe is just, like, an optional thing? I don't know. I survived. Anyway, that's my number 3. What would you say is your number 3? I can't think of anything else more to say. I mean, I already played like 30, you know, over 30 hours of The Last of Us originally on this channel, so you can get all my thoughts there. But great game, definitely one of the first games that made me think, wow, storytelling in video games can be very innovative and powerful and emotional. And you know, I always thought you can get emotional with video games, but this is one of the first ones that I ever really experienced that like really like was like wow. And what it was the same for a lot of people. You said you said your number 3 is Persona 5 Royal. Now I really have no idea of, I really have no context to the Persona games. But I know that you've been a big fan. Is there a difference between like, is Persona 5 Royal just kind of like the subtitle to the 5th iteration, or is it like another? No, I guess it's like the mainline Persona game, right? The 5th one. Yeah, allow me to explain. Yeah, go ahead. So did I complete that? I don't even know. And is Royal like a remaster or a remake? Like when they say Royal, or is like again, is it like, or is it just the subtitles similar to like, you know, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. It's just the subtitle to that 4th iteration, or this 5th, you know. Persona 5 Royal is an expanded re-release to Persona 5. Okay, so when did the original Persona 5 come out versus the Persona 5 Royal? That's my question. Stability, damage, that would be good. Is that it? Is that all I can do? Okay, I guess it is. And how is the gameplay? Like, it came out in 2016 and Royal came out in 2019. Okay, so that's a good chunk of time between games. Revolver ammo, Molotov recipe, melee upgrade recipe. Let's go with the submachine gun, I guess. Revolver ammo times 5. Sure, why not? What is this? Molotov recipe would be cool. And I guess I'll get some more ammo. While we're at it, let's see what we got here. You said the gameplay is split in two parts: social simulation and RPG fighting. Social simulation, so I guess you're trying to like have like romantic partners and try to woo them or try to form friendships or alliances. I'm guessing that's what it is, and then you can do like RPG fighting, like you said. That's interesting. We'll do craft more smoke bombs, and I think that's all we can do there. But let's also craft health kit. Let's get a Molotov in there. Okay, and that's what we got for now. You perfectly described it. So that's interesting, you know, because like right now I'm playing South Park: Stick of Truth, and you make friends and you get buddies, and obviously you're picking your buddies once you get enough of them, and then you can use them in your kind of like RPG fighting or like turn-based fighting rather. Is it similar to like Final Fantasy type of like turn-based fighting, like those older games? I think that's how those games play out, right? But like would you say it's like that? And then, well, but what's interesting though is that with the social simulation is that you're kind of earning your friends in a more nuanced way than just simply unlocking them. But it's a story heavy game. It's interesting. It's quite similar. Okay. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, even though it's an RPG, and you're not doing, there weren't really, I mean, there were moments where you would, basically there were moments where, like, the RPG element of it, you were making friends with people, and you easily could have not made friends with certain people, like, if events went certain ways. And then, yeah, I think it affected gameplay at certain points, where, you know, they may be on your side or not, or, you know, depending if they survived or not. So there's interesting, that's probably the closest game that I've played that's similar like that, I guess.
Hey, right over here.
Oh, come on. Jesse, what are you doing? Alright, so we didn't do so hot on that. I feel like I need to be a little less hiding and just get to the action already, because I'm pretty well equipped at that point. I could have just started shooting people. I think I really start to shoot myself in the foot when I kind of just let them corner me and let them creep up on me the way they do. But you said, yeah, so once you make bonds with your friends, they'll become stronger in the RPG side. Interesting. And I'm guessing different playthroughs can play out completely differently from one another, right? Subway station, got that. New Gambits, Gambits tier 4, Unchained 2 clickers. Oh, that's gonna be interesting. Stun 2 enemies with stun bombs, melee kill 2 enemies, get 3 headshot kills, stun 3 enemies by shooting below their knee. Huh. You can stun 3 enemies by shooting below their knee. Interesting. New character! We got Jesse. Okay, so we're making progress here. We're getting things. This character is now available to play when you start a new run. Traits: 30% more currency, silencer recipe, pipe bomb recipe, gorilla upgrade branch. Okay, and you said you can have as many girlfriends as you want, including your teacher. Ah, little fantasy going on there. Can you? So you can have as many as you want. What happens if one finds out about the other, though? Do you have to like? Is it like a cheating simulator in a way, like where it's like you have to like make sure you don't get caught, or not that I ever do that ever in real life. You know, I'm as loyal as the day is long, um, but there's a humor in that, I think. And this would be an interesting game to have on a desert island because the replayability is probably like a lot of fun. On Valentine's Day, all the girls with come shouting at you. Oh yeah, because you can only like there's only so much you can do on Valentine's Day. You have to spend it with your significant other. So we got Dina here, we got Jesse. We have Marlene too. Gambits. Look at all these guys. We got Joel. Progress to Tommy's challenge to unlock Joel, so we have to unlock Tommy. Interesting. We got a trophy today, which I'm glad. Um, but yeah, that's good. Good soundtrack. And how long are these games, by the way? Like, do they run like what would you say? Like, are they like a 15-hour game, or are they like 30 hours if you're just trying to get through the story? Like, now the RPG, the personas in this game are the demons that will help you in battle. Think of Pokemon. The personas. Ah, so you kind of have like a party of personas, I'm guessing, similar to Pokemon. You said, "Oh boy, the soundtrack is absolutely beautiful." Would you say this is your favorite? I'm guessing, obviously, of this decade, this is the one you're picking, but I don't know like, when did the first Persona come out? Like, would you say this is the one that's, like, just, like, stands above the rest? I'm guessing you enjoy the, the run of it up until now, because I'm sure that, if you're playing the fifth game and loving it as much as you are, I'm sure the first four games are, uh, you know, just as in the ballpark of enjoyable. You said, yeah, I'd say it's my favorite. It's like 100 hours long. Okay. So there's a lot, you get a lot of bang for your buck with this game. Awesome. Anything else you want to add? Because I think I'm gonna close. I think after tonight, I think we got a good plenty of attempts at runs, but we at least got a lot of stuff unlocked, and we got a trophy. You said only Persona 3, 4, and 5 are the good games. Ah, so Persona 1 and 2, I guess they're a little rough around the edges. I'm surprised that the first two games, not being as good, that they would even get to a third game. But maybe people just believed in it so much that this has potential to improve. So you said, yeah, the dungeons are awesome. And that's my three. The dungeons. So I'm guessing similar to Pokemon, where you can go to like in like the caves and all that, and run into a lot of like enemies and so forth. So that's cool. So Persona 5 Royal. All right. I guess we can end it there unless you have anything more. But yeah, that's your three. I guess to recap, uh, my number 10 is BioShock Infinite. Number 9, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 8, Horizon Zero Dawn. Number 7, Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 6, South Park Fractured But Whole. Number 5, Killzone 3. Number 4, God of War. And number 3 is Last of Us. Notice that my number 4 and 3 are like very similar, where it's like you're escorting like you know your daughter or your son, like, or like, you know, that's your like your buddy companion. Figurative daughter, but you know what I mean. Um, and then your number 10. Oh, but before I continue though, you said yeah, you go in castles, banks, space, and a cruise ship. Okay, that's cool. Quite the adventure. And okay, so I guess we'll get to your number 10, Minecraft. Number 9, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 8, Sonic Generations. Number 7, Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy. Number 6, Super Mario Odyssey. Number 5, Marvel Spider-Man. Number 4, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. And number 4 was, I'm sorry, your number 4 was Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, and number 3 is Persona 5 Royal. Coolest, coolest. Next episode we'll get to our, well, obviously next episode we'll be talking about the third episode of The Last of Us Part 2. Or, I'm sorry, The Last of Us Season 2. And we can probably finish off our number 2 and number 1 spot for the 2010s Desert Island list. All right. Other than that, I've said pretty much all I've wanted to say about the second episode. I'm looking forward to see how they'll go. You know, I thought. By the way, I thought. What's her name? Caitlin Dever did a great job as Abby. Even if I didn't, even if I wish the writing was different with her speech and everything. You know, because again, my argument is that she kind of reveled in the revenge a lot, and even though it was disturbing for everyone around her, I felt like she was, I don't know, I like going forward, she seems satisfied. Not sad, but I'm sure she has her regrets, and she's going to go through her arc of like, guilt and regret of like how this is going to affect like the repercussions of what she did in front of all these people, and of course the impact that this is going to have on Ellie and the retaliation that's going to be coming. But I just feel like she reveled in it. I don't know. It's like they took another approach where even though we saw her, even though she explained her motives to the audience more for us to be behind it, I think she kind of she was a little bit more sadistic in the torture of Joel in this, like, like the way she was kind of just like rubbing salt in his wounds throughout the whole thing, more compared to the game. So I guess that's a way for for allowing the audience to not like her, which I think is at least something, because I want to experience kind of like not being on board with how she went about it, about meting out justice. And then when we get to know her more as the show continues, maybe then we'll develop that perspective and that soft spot for her more. But I really like the actress. I like what she did with it. I think she did a great job. And I noticed one thing. I was reading up with what Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin said in an interview, I think with Deadline. They said the reason that they revealed Abby's motives right off the bat and kind of like explained that to the audience more is that they were dealing with the game. Neil went for surprise when it comes to Joel's death, whereas with the I guess with the show, they wanted to balance that surprise for, like, say, the TV audience with a level of suspense for the not with for the video game audience, but a suspense for both audiences, really, because we're seeing that, oh, this character wants to kill Joel, like we know why she's out there from the beginning, so we have a sense of like drama when they finally meet, regardless if we know how it's going to play out. So that's something to think about, the direction they went in. But anyway, I'm looking forward to see what happens next, how it plays out. But yeah, other than that, Pebble Pig, it's been a pleasure. Uh, uh, Everyone out there, if you want to like, comment, or subscribe, it's greatly appreciated. You can subscribe to KevPlays9490 on YouTube, or follow me on Twitter at Let's Watch Series. Other than that, stay safe, stay healthy, keep a clear head, and keep on gaming, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace out.